I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Avatar: The Last Airbenders rewatch show here on AfterBuzz TV. We're all stuck in quarantine right now, so why not fill our time with rewatching the greatest show of all time? Right over here, we've got our resident Earthbender, Gunnar Texera. How you doing, Gunnar?
I love representing my Earth Kingdom, but I'm still a Waterbender at heart, and we were missing our Airbender master, but we love her so much.
All right, and we've got our resident newbie, our Waterbender, Elgin Ball. What do you think, bud?
Yo, guys, what's up? I'm wearing red, but I'm a Waterbender at heart, and I'm ready to talk about this episode today.
All right, and behind the scenes, we got our producer, Ryan Nilsson, our swap bender. Ryan, how you doing today?
That's right, I'm a swamp bender, and I am, guys, I'll tell you, the past few weeks, the world's been in a swamp, but I feel like we're starting to bend ourselves out of it.
There we go.
Pun.
Love that,
Appreciate
Ryan.
it.
And unfortunately, our airbending master, Alexis, is not here today with us, but she will be back next week, so don't worry. And I'm Eric Jewell, your resident firebender, and I'm more than happy to take over and head our way for everybody today. All right, so this week, we watched episodes 9 and 10, The Waterbending Scroll and Jet. We're finally at the halfway point of the season, guys. Like, it's already crazy to me that we're already halfway there, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so we've only watched these two episodes for this week, so we're not going to be talking about anything in the future episodes, so please try not to spoil anything in the comments or the live chat. As we've said, Elgin is a newbie. This is his first time ever watching the show, so we're trying to keep him as clean as possible before we head into the rest of the season. You guys ready to get into the episode?
Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, so first we're going to talk about episode 9, the Waterbending Scroll. Then right after that, we're going to jump into our favorite segment, Bingo, which Gunnar has for us this week.
Yes, I do. I'm not going to reveal that what we have in store.
All right, so let's get into episode 9, guys, the Waterbending Scroll. So first off, we pick up pretty much right after where our last episode ended, with Aang just freaking out, understandably, from what Roku told him that he has to master all 4 elements within the first year. Now, you guys agree this is a pretty natural reaction for Aang to have right now with all this information thrown at him, Elgin?
Yeah, definitely. I felt like the stakes were a little bit higher, especially in the first 5 minutes of that episode. Just him trying to figure out what he's going to do. And obviously, Katara is not that good of a teacher because he's kind of surpassed her already, but that was pretty funny to see.
Yeah, speaking of Katara not being a great master and pretty much just not a great waterbender yet right now, we quickly have the group head into a village and run into some pretty scary looking pirates, especially for a kids show. Pretty intimidating there. And the group steals a waterbending scroll. Katara starts trying to teach Aang some waterbending, and Aang pretty much overtakes her immediately. Now, I kind of agree. I'm in the same boat as Katara, where Aang is doing this stuff for the first time. And Katara's been doing this. This has been part of her for her entire life. I completely think it's justified that Katara starts freaking out at Aang. Maybe she might have blown it a bit out of proportion, but if I'd been doing something my entire life and somebody picks up on it within the first 5 minutes of me teaching them that well, I would be understandably angry. Gunnar, are you in the same boat as me, or am I just completely wrong here?
No, not wrong in the least bit, because it's not even that he picks it up so easily. It's that this is something that she struggled herself. It took her months to push and pull, months to do the streaming of the water. So for him to just naturally get it, which obviously she wasn't quite realizing that airbending and waterbending share such similarities in technique and form. Of course, it's going to be natural. It's not his opposite element. It's not a challenging, different form of element. It's going to come naturally to him. And she is a good teacher. She explains things really well. But Katara's reaction is completely valid because his optimism can be so obnoxious sometimes, and wanting to just be, oh, you're fine, don't worry. I just must be pretty lucky. And it's just like, do you ever stop?
Yeah, really. So, Elgin, this scroll is a pretty big deal for Katara. And as far as I'm aware, this is really the only bending scroll that we see throughout the series. So it's kind of interesting that they focused an entire episode around that. But Elgin, would you have risked your life and your friend's life just to get this one scroll for you to learn how to bend?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do it. And I see why she did it, because it wasn't just any type of scroll, but it was a water bending scroll. And eventually, like she said, yeah, they stole it from another waterbender, so why not take
That's a
back
good point,
what's
yeah.
rightfully there? And plus, they're pirates. They're not really like nice,
Not all
moral
that
people
honorable in how they
anyways.
got it
No.
anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. So jumping over to Zuko and Iroh, we have our first ever mention of Pai Sho. Iroh has lost his White Lotus tile, and conveniently, they end up going to the same marketplace that Aang and Katara and Sokka have all been, and they run into the same pirates. So we get a little bit of a pirate team up there. Then quickly, pirates all kidnap Aang, Katara, and Sokka, and Katara realizes that Zuko is the one that has her mother's necklace. Elgin, did you think there was going to be a bit more of a fight there, or did you think more would come of that in this episode?
I think because that particular episode was based around waterbending in some sort of sense, I felt like I was gonna see like a Katara versus Zuko fight. Just because they did have screen time prior to when he was like holding her necklace hostage. So I really wanted there to be a moment with that, but I still like the fight scene with the pirates and the firebenders and the Avatar team. So
Yeah,
it
speaking of that fight
suffice.
scene, also going into the next episode, this plays into there as well.
Mhm.
I'm always blown away anytime we have a non-bender fighting a bender and actually holding their own. Like, you never think that somebody who naturally has a weapon built into their body, you would
Mhm.
think they just have a better chance of winning. Am I wrong, Gunnar? Do you think that I'm wrong in thinking this?
Well, I feel like the common mistake is to think that it's a weapon when more it is a muscle. Every muscle must be trained and technique. And a guitar is a pure example of that. Aang, even though he's 112 years old and he had a 100-year gap, he was 12 and living at a temple dedicated to
That's a good
airbending.
point.
So he
Mhm.
is no master yet, but he is a natural at it and already has a few years with it. Katara, unfortunately, loses her mother at a very young age. And so she basically self teaches, which is no way to knock at that. But non-benders show their ground and show they can handle themselves just as much as these magically gifted individuals.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also, we haven't seen a fight that Zuko has lost against another bender yet. So Zuko, there you go, just goes to show that you just have to strengthen you like what you said, your muscle into fighting more like this. So finally, at the end of this episode, we have a boat chase. That was kind of interesting to see because we've mostly just been like flying in the sky the whole time. So it's interesting for them to see something that they're surrounded by water. This is more of Katara's element.
Mhm.
And we easily see that Aang picks up on waterbending very quickly with how he is able to just fight these pirates off on the boat. And then he and Katara finally put their skills together and stop the boat. Unfortunately, they still get pushed over a waterfall. Did any of you guys think anything like this would happen before Appa flies in, finally seeing our bison whistle come working for us? So Elgin, Appa's the MVP here, right? Just making a clutch save at the end of
Oh
the
yeah,
episode like this.
definitely. I did not see that coming, but I enjoyed the ironic twist at the end with the whistle because all the jokes at the beginning. So I found that to be very funny. But I was not expecting a boat fight, which I thought was interesting. But I feel like there could have been a little bit more with that in terms of like Katara because she only had like that one move. Like I wanted to see something more, but it was all right. I'm pretty sure I'll see more of that in the future. That's just me being water bending crazy at the moment. So
Yeah, Gunnar, Elgin makes a good point there, saying he thought because this was a Katara heavy episode with her learning these moves, do you think she should have had a bit more to do in that fight at the end as well? Or what are your opinions for that?
I think Katara isn't at that point yet. Katara is a complete newbie. She, yes, is the water teacher and master to Aang in his
Mhm.
respect, but she is a complete newbie. It is just like she's in the same boat as Aang, and she's not there yet, but she's also one of the baddest chicks on the show. So don't worry. She is 100% gonna pull her way and keep her strength. And this is a for sure heavy Katara episode. Both of these are.
Yeah, I love the fact that Katara had more to do in this episode. It's not that she hadn't had a lot to do before, but this is the
Mhm.
first episode that really focused on something Katara wants to do and is such a big part of who she is.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So before we jump to our bingo board, do either of you guys have a lesson that you guys think was learned from this episode? for our characters? We'll start with you, Gunnar.
Only steal from pirates, kids. That's all you got to know.
Oh, that was
Don't
my
steal.
lesson.
Don't steal. I'm not approving stealing or robbery at all whatsoever. I'm not endorsing that.
What about
I'm
you,
endorsing
Elgin?
it. I'm definitely endorsing it. Steal from pirates all the time. That's my lesson.
Yeah, I have my big lesson that I think is, especially for Katara here, is don't compare yourself to other people's accomplishments. Whereas Aang picked up on all of this so quickly, but Katara's been working her whole life, so she just has to focus on this is something. Also, Aang was right. It probably does help that he's the Avatar. Probably gives him a bit of an edge there. Also, my second favorite lesson, who we get this from Iroh, is him saying, I always say, the only thing better than finding something you are looking for is finding something you weren't looking for at a great bargain. Again, we had just a little bit of a good gold piece from Iroh right there. So great way to end that episode with that. Yeah. All right. So Gunnar, let's head on over. Bingo. What did we get for this episode?
So let's take some guesses. What do both of you think from the bingo board? We know we both are watching it, but what do you two think? I'll have just quick thoughts like before I reveal.
I think we probably got 4 in a row, but probably not 5.
Elgin?
What about
I'm
you,
gonna
Elgin?
say we're gonna be optimistic like Aang. We're gonna say we got bingo.
Well, if our lovely swamp bending master can pull up the bingo board, we unfortunately did not get bingo this week.
Oh,
But
man.
we came very close, and we have some very exciting ones that we had. We had the introduction to the whistle. We have Katara's necklace return and her talking about her mother. We have an angry Zuko, which is just always a classic. The Cabbage Man makes his appearance once again.
Yes, I forgot to mention that.
I forgot about that.
Almost, even when I was doing this bingo board, I said, like, oh, we haven't seen the Cabbage Man. I'm like, wait. Yes, we did. We did see him. We have Waterbending, which is our main focus of this episode. A very angry Katara. Some new characters, and a new animal that I'm going to call it a Parrot Dragon at this moment. I had to research what it's called again.
Yeah, Sokka mentioned it was like a reptile bird.
Lizard
and
bird?
I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one that we've never seen before.
Low-key, probably one of my favorite animals. I think that thing's so cool. We have firebending and airbending. And that is all we have for the first episode. So nothing yet, but we had the introduction to the whistle, so that will be sticking around and much more these rest of these episodes.
I'm so happy that we finally got the whistle making an appearance. I had been waiting for that to show up all season, and I was so happy that it was finally there.
So there's more of the whistle.
Oh, possibly. I just forgot it wasn't in his possession yet.
Yeah, and we have Katie Fox in the chat saying that I generally tend to think that once you know one element, a lot of those skills translate to the other elements, and I think that's part of why Aang picked it up so quickly. That might come into play later on. We don't know. But yeah, are you guys ready to jump into episode 10?
Oh, don't know. Yeah, we're ready.
Elgin, you've got a lot in store still.
Plot twist. I've never watched the series in my life. Plot twist.
All right. So jumping into episode 10, it's titled Jet. This episode to me really shows how much Sokka is actually the brains of the group. Am I alone thinking that? Really, Gunnar, you have a different opinion? I want to know, Gunnar, why do you say that?
Sokka is very intelligent. We see that. He is a knucklehead, but I don't really know, actually, honestly, if I could say there is a true brains. The person who is like, they are the intelligence, not to say like, oh, they're just the smart one. They don't have anything else to portray. Because all of them are smart in different ways. Katara and Aang are emotionally smart. He's strategically and combat smart for his age at the moment. But I don't know if there's actually a brains. Momo's the brains of the operation.
Default, it's always Momo when we need a suggestion
just
there.
To Momo.
Yeah, but I specifically say that because Sokka is the one that realizes, hey, we can't keep flying everywhere because Appa's a giant bison in the sky. And as far as everyone is aware, there's only one of those in the world. So the Fire Nation can pretty easily figure out who is on board with that right now. And then also, he is the one who quickly realizes Jet is not fully who he thinks he is or who he presents himself to be. But I love the introduction of Jet and his freedom fighters. I think them taking down a whole group of Fire Nation soldiers like this is a quick and easy way for them to just show, oh, these guys are capable fighters. Elgin, what did you think when we met the group for the first time before everything was revealed about these guys?
That was good that you said that.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool how they just took down a whole mini army of firebenders. I think that was a great introduction of introducing these characters specifically, and a little bit later fighting, where they get their resolve from, and what drives them as a characters through the obstacles that they're facing. So I really did like that introduction of those characters.
Yeah, I also think the show does a very good job trying to make us have sympathy with Jet as well, because we learn quickly that both of his parents were killed by the Fire Nation. So that's even more of a reason than Sokka and Katara have, because they just lost their mother. So that also quickly forms a bond there. And in my mind, that's kind of the writers being like, oh, he's lost a parent as well to the Fire Nation. Obviously, he is a good guy that we should be siding with. But then they quickly turn that on their heel. And again, Sokka's with them when Jet just attacks a very old, elderly, just Fire Nation soldier. Do you guys have any sympathy for Jet in this moment, Gunnar? Is he justified in attacking him because he's a Fire Nation civilian, or what are your opinions on that?
This is the defining moment between Katara and Sokka and Jet, because Katara obviously is not the confrontational one. She sees the good in people. Sokka is 100% the bitter of the two, wanting to think all Fire Nations evil. We've seen this repetitiously throughout the episodes, like dirty Fire Nation, the monsters. But Jet is the true bad side of that coin, because he shows the bitter and the revenge-seeking mindset that comes with loss and pain, and thinking you need to avenge the fallen, when really Sokka and Katara just want justice and he wants revenge.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's something I noted down as well. It's that you can see how differently Katara and Sokka approach the Fire Nation versus Jet, where Jet doesn't want any Fire Nation soldiers around, even if it means sacrificing innocent civilian people. Whereas Sokka, he hates the Fire Nation as much as everybody else, but he doesn't want to risk even a single innocent person's life to chance getting rid of the Fire Nation. I just think that's a very effective way for them to show how exactly they're two different sides of the same coin, like that. Yeah, so end of the episode. What's up, Elgin? What do you want to say?
I think you guys are missing a big point here. Like, why is Katara trying to get with Jet when she's supposed to be with Aang? Like, it's
wait.
working for me here. It's not.
Do you think Katara and Aang have something? What? That is so off base.
They should. Like, how you just go get to this guy, you just met him the first hour, you're already in love with him. You know what? It's Katara kind of made me mad this episode. I'm just, wow.
Going back to that, there is one joke at the very beginning of the episode, which I find very funny in retrospect, where Sokka's like, yeah, I've kissed girls. You've just never met them. And I'm like, Sokka,
really?
The only girl in your village close to your age is Katara. Who have you been kissing?
No,
this is weird.
Never met them. I've met Gran. No, it's not Gran. Oh gosh, that line
was hilarious.
Will always get me. I will always laugh at that joke.
Yeah, Elgin, you are right. They do have a little bit of a tease for Katara and Jet at the beginning, which I'm happy about, because at the very end of the episode, she wants to believe Jet is a good guy so badly. But I love the fact that Sokka being missing and Jet talking bad about Sokka, I love the fact that that is what gets Katara to turn on Jet. Where no matter how much Sokka and Katara have been fighting, they are siblings. They have each other's backs more than they have anybody else's, excluding Aang. He's practically their family at this point. But them using family to really connect those two really just hits it home for me that this is an amazing show.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any final thoughts on this episode before we go to the lesson for it?
Oh, just my lesson. I have my lesson now.
Elgin, do you have any final thoughts on Jet and like Katara's romance?
Yeah, we're just gonna scoot that aside. I'm just making my lesson.
Okay, no. I will
All right.
for a second. Sorry.
No, you guys are good.
I have a question for Elgin in the prediction part, so I'll follow up later.
All right, great.
Okay.
So, Elgin, let's start with you. What is the lesson that you took away from this episode?
Never trust a fake friend. That's pretty much that.
Yeah, we quickly saw that Jet only wanted Katara and Aang's help when he saw that they were benders.
They were benders, yeah.
Like, if it wasn't for them, like, being able to bend, Jet probably would have thrown them into the village along with the Fire Nation soldiers, honestly.
Probably.
Yeah. Gunnar, what did you take your lesson away to be?
Well, thank you, actually, to you, Eric, for the last comment you just made, because the real lesson here is to remember where your loyalties lie, and remember that your family must come always first. That is either blood or and that is where you must reside in.
Yeah, that's a good point too. For me, my lesson is Sokka was right. Trust your gut, especially if you are having these bad feelings so quickly like that. Pretty much trust your gut right there. Oh, and Katie Fox made a comment that our producer Ryan Nilsson is really going to enjoy, especially on today of all days. Katie says Jet gave into his anger and turned to the dark side of the Force.
Oh man.
Thank you, Katie, for bringing up Star Wars on that. There we go. Love it. All right, so Gunnar, let's head back to you. Let's go. How close did we get for bingo in this episode?
Wow. Thank you for bringing that up once again. Well, what are your guys' predictions? What do you think?
We had the Bison Whistle last episode. We had some new character introductions, but I don't think we got it again this episode.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You both are correct. We have no bingo this week, as we are seeing up on the board now. We have some waterbending. We had some very short amount of firebending. No earthbending. 2 episodes in a row without earthbending, which is very sad. We have some new animals, which are called hog monkeys, I learned, which was the first creature that's got Momo trapped, and that's what Aang released.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
We have some awesome boomerang bending going on.
Yep.
We have new characters, that is Jet and the Freedom Fighters. And we have obviously Katara mentioning her mother, because it's in 5 minutes, so what else would Katara talk about? Which I didn't really didn't make that joke, but I was like, wow. Once I saw the bingo board with that comment, I was like, she talks about her a lot. It's a valid thing to talk about, but it comes up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have Reagan in the chat right now saying the yip yip in this episode has such power. Just how cold Sokka is to
Yip,
Jet when
yip.
he says yip yip at the end is great.
Yip, yip.
Oh, and Gunnar, you were right. That boomerang throw at the beginning, perfect.
There are just some great, that boomerang does some amazing work in this series, and it makes me so happy when we have those moments.
Yeah, and if we had had one mention of Zuko's honor, we would have had bingo right there.
Wow.
It would have been great. That would have been fantastic. All right, yeah, so that about wraps up for this episode right now. Before we finish up, Elgin, what are your predictions for the next few episodes?
Oh, for the next few episodes, okay. I'm really at a loss right now. I don't know what's gonna happen after this. I know, like, the ending of that last episode, like, we're gonna see Jet again. I don't think that situation is wrapped up entirely, but so
Yeah,
that's
as far as we know, Jet is still stuck frozen to a tree right now.
So I have a question.
Katara just left him there.
Yes, which I love that moment, because this is our first use of density shifting in water, which I love seeing. They go from water to ice. Elgin, then I have a prediction question. What would you like to see, or what do you think is going to happen of Jet? Where, if you could write the next few episodes or his storyline, where do you see it going?
Yeah,
if he comes into play, with no spoilers, I will say.
If he comes into play, and maybe him being a little bit redeemed.
Okay.
You want him to get redeemed after this? Interesting. Okay.
Good. We love seeing it.
We love to see it.
After what he did, or what he attempted to do you think they could have a sufficient redemption arc for him?
Oh, now I'm thinking about it, you did try to kill a whole bunch of kids and elderly people. Awkward.
Yeah, Elgin, he wanted to flood an entire village of people.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Or basically a squadron of Fire Nation. He said, 40 people, but there's 7 Fire Nation. Got it. Easy decision.
Yeah, so Elgin, do you think he could be redeemed at this point?
Maybe not. Yeah, we might just have to get rid of him at some point. just to wrap that all the way up, tie up those loose ends. Just kill them all.
What a drastic change, Elgin.
It's not
I know,
summer.
I'm really shifting today.
It's not summer, so technically he could stay frozen in that tree for the next 9 months. It's
First
fine.
Elgin wants him to be redeemed, and now he's like, nah. My goodness,
Yeah, he
Elgin.
might just have to go. Just
All
keep
right,
away from Katara. That's
Do you guys have any last comments on these 2 episodes before we wrap it up today?
No.
Just keep on watching along with us.
Yes. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in right now. That means so much to us. And once again, AfterBuzz TV is the ESPN of TV talk. We know you guys have a lot of things you could be watching during quarantine right now. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. Gunnar, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on all social media platforms at the Gunnar Thomas, and make sure you keep in contact with me and my fellow vendors at #Sozin's and we'll make sure we shout you out. Leave us a 5-star review on any podcast streaming service, or just shout me out on Twitter or Instagram with those hashtags.
Yep. Elgin, where can people find you now?
All right, you guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Elgin_ball.
And producer Ryan in the booth, where can people find you online?
Happy Star Wars Day, by the way. May the 4th be with you. You can find me at Ryan Nilsson on Twitter, at Ryan Nilsson on Instagram. One takeaway from this episode, I think, is, with Katara teaching Aang, they are what they grow beyond. That is the burden of all masters, and that is a quote from Star Wars, and I think that fits for that episode. So, follow me there.
And there we go.
We need a new producer.
Right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Alexis will be back with us next week. You guys can follow her online as well. You guys can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at EricJoel11. Once again, AfterBuzz is the ESPN of TV talk. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
See you next week, everyone.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.